You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 11th of December 2025.
Now you're playing Spongebob.
I am. I played Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, which is the remastered version released in 2020. And I was looking down through the other Sponge. So this guy made a 40-minute video on YouTube saying that the Spongebob series of games was an underrated series of platformers. And I've only played the one game.
Correctly rated.
I think it's correctly rated as well. I think it's like, he was like, his argument literally was like, people are sleeping on these things. And then as he went on, he would go, now, they're not like the best games in the world. And I was like, what do you, like, what's the fucking point in what you're saying? You know?
Yeah.
There is just so much charm to be had, and even going back to this original game all these years later, it's not like it's a 10 out of 10 platformer by any means, but it's got really fun mechanics, really charming music, multiple playable characters with unique movesets, and I'm always a big fan of whenever platformers have those. It's just a fun game. Like, at the end of the day, it's just a fun little platformer.
It's the SpongeBob, the Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. And I've got SpongeBob, the Cosmic Shake, which I heard was shit, but he said was actually fine, so I'm going to play it as well.
SpongeBob.
But then he also said that the Patrick Star game was good, and I've heard I watched some footage and it looks shit, and a bunch of people have said it is shit, so I don't buy it.
Was the video, I played every SpongeBob game ever? Was that the one you were watching?
I don't think so.
The new SpongeBob game is disturbing. You got to play Titans of the Tide.
I am gonna. I will eventually play that because it looks like more Battle for Bikini Bottom, which actually gets abbreviated in the subreddit.
I know. That's my favorite thing about Reddit. You go into a little forum. It's like, of course, we all know B4BB. Yeah, is the best. Or be like, there's a newbie here, and let me guess, you're stuck on B or BB, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The complete run through seems to be 6 hours long. Maybe it's a speed run.
They're not very complex games.
The graphics are poor.
Are you watching the original or are you watching the rehydrated?
Oh. Sorry. That's a clever way of saying remaster.
Rehydrated?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of SpongeBob jokes that they also programmed into the game. Like if you're Patrick Star and you're idle for a bit, then he makes like the Patrick Star face from the memes. Or like they put in the memes and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Which weren't in the original game, apparently.
Okay.
There's a new SpongeBob movie out at the moment.
The remaster came is looking nice.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh, ruins the atmosphere though.
I knew what he was talking about, but I don't accept it. I mean, he's kind of like, oh, it's shit because it's a bit brighter. And I was like, no, it's good because it's brighter. And I know that maybe you're thinking that the drab colors better match the original, but it doesn't.
The drab
doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
What did it originally come out on? PS3?
I think it originally came out in like the PlayStation 2.
Oh. It looked good for a PS2 game. I need to know now. Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's the rehydrated one. 2003. You're right here playing games from 2003.
It's 2020. But yeah.
The original one came out 2003.
Yeah. And then they remade it in 2020.
They remastered it.
They remastered it, yeah.
Same function. you know?
Yeah, I suppose.
Battle for Bikini Bottom received mixed or average reviews. Fair.
Yeah.
The
Entirely fair. It's
the game has gained a cult following and a large speedrunning presence. Let's look up what the speedrun title. The speedrun. How long did it take you?
I'd rather not say.
How long?
How long? I don't know. I don't really keep track of it, but I would say that 6 hours sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. The speedrun is a 90% world record. 40 minutes.
Right. I imagine there's a lot of exploits in it.
Yeah, you think they can get down there quicker than... Well, let's get the leaderboards up. Because maybe there's...
By the way, speaking of leaderboards, I'm not trying to change the subject, but we have to... We don't have to. I'm just saying that because Mark has started his podcast, Wet Cold Irish Summer, available on all good podcast platforms, he has been kind of promoting it in a way that we do not promote our podcast.
I have noticed that, yeah.
And he has found the podcast charts. So I found where we're ranked in Irish podcasts. That's funny, isn't it?
Do I want to know?
Well, I think it varies like from day to day, but the day that I looked it up, like we weren't ranked high, obviously, but we were above American Prestige, which is very funny.
That's good.
Yeah. But the listening of Ireland, the podcast habits of Ireland are incredibly depressing, especially politically. You're like fucking put a gun in your mouth.
Yeah. Spongebob Cosmic Shake. Came out in 2023.
But the other one that I'm playing now, I'm going to be playing Dave the Diver, but I want to lock in for that. Whereas the SpongeBob game is where I throw on a bunch of podcasts and just so like, yeah, I listened to a bunch of. We were talking yesterday. We recorded and then we lost the entire episode. But I mentioned a racist guy called Eoin Lenihan, who ended up on the Inside Politics podcast for the Irish Times, being interviewed by Hugh Linehan. And basically, I'll be playing my platformers while listening to that stuff. Just like racists.
I've been playing Demon Souls.
I should be polite and be like, "What are you playing, James?" Just ask some questions, you know?
Yeah, but it's so obvious you don't care. Nah.
What do you mean? I do care. Oh, don't say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm playing Demon Souls.
I don't know what that is though. Oh wait, I do know what that is. Am I wrong? Is that something to do with the fucking guys? You know the guy who did Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first one of those. It's another. It's another rehydrated game, and it's good.
Yeah.
It plays like a game from 2013. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not very straightforward. And then after that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll play a baby game.
Maybe you should play... I haven't played it, but maybe you should play Obra Dinn.
No. That looks boring. It's like a puzzle game.
I don't know if it's a puzzle game. I think it's just kind of an atmospheric sort of horror sort of game.
You're on a boat.
It is a puzzle game, apparently, Zainab says.
Yeah. My life is puzzling enough. I don't need more puzzles in my spare time.
Do you not like point and clicks or anything, no?
No. I like when you have a sword or a gun.
Right. Now, what's a good game for... I don't play any of those games. And not because I'm scared, okay? Stop saying that. It's because I'm scared, okay?
Yeah.
But when I play like those, first-person shooters, when they're watching it, my camera is just going fucking ape shit. Like I just can't play them. Do you know what I mean? I just can't physically do it. I don't know why. Like I'm not able to do it.
We should make a Ligers game.
Yeah.
Wherein, you know that game Manhunt?
Yeah.
But it's in Leinster House.
Yeah. What about Manhunt, but we're just hunting exclusively scroats and putting like a plastic bag over their head and suffocating them.
Yeah. Vaping in their face until they die. So,
yeah.
Whatever they get up to.
Except knowing them, their tolerance for that, you know?
Yeah, knowing them, they love it.
Yeah.
Or it could be a racing game. So it's like Crash Team Racing, but for other Ligers.
Oh, I thought you said a race game.
Yeah, be a race game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other news?
Well, the big news in this house is that Eoin Lenihan thing. I basically, like I said, I was like, so yesterday we recorded something and I had like a bunch of notes, but then I would hit these moments where I was like, I don't have, I don't know, the full story on the notes because I didn't like engage with Eoin Lenihan, or there was one where Pat Kenny was accused of justifying October 7th.
Yeah.
And I hadn't listened to that podcast, and now I've listened to all of it, and I've come. I've come and I've listened to all of it. I've done my homework.
What?
All right. But yeah, Pat Kenny, it turns out, would it surprise you that Pat Kenny did not in fact justify October 7th?
What did he say?
So they had this guy on, what's his name? I think his name is Dominic Green. So Dominic Green, I think is his name anyway.
Sorry, one second.
No worries.
A few moments later.
So James, I guess, left and got a bar of chocolate that he could just unwrap directly in. What are you eating?
A Mars bar.
Unbelievable. Mars bar. So anyway, Dominic Green is his Twitter, according to his Twitter, historian with opinions at DC Examiner, at Wall Street Journal Opinion, Wall Street Journal Books, at Spectator, at Telegraph, at The Oldie, at New York Post, at Jewish Chronicle, and so forth. Recovering musician. And the title of his latest fucking diatribe was "Ireland is a wounded tiger. Resurgent anti-Semitism is only one symptom of the country's poor leadership and consequent malaise." So Pat Kenny introduces him and basically says, "Oh, so here's like the thesis of your article," which is, he says that Ireland might, basically the people of Ireland might not be anti-Semitic, but that their political leadership are.
Right.
And obviously he uses, and then you see what happened with Herzog Park, where they tried to rename it. Just goes to demonstrate that our politicians are anti-Semitic. It was like, yeah,
they
but
stopped it.
Our government stopped that from happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, Pat Kenny sort of puts that to him, just kind of like, you've said that this, and he's like, basically, I would have thought that Simon Harris and Micheál Martin were actually very, like, pro-Israel. You know what I mean? Like, they've always gone out of their way to.
They're very Semitic.
Yeah, they're very Semitic. One of them in particular, and I'm not saying which. But anyway, basically, Pat Kenny tries to get a bit of his background, and the guy, he says he's well, you know, I'm a Brit from North London, and I split my time between here and Boston. And the guy's like, well, I went there on holiday a few times.
Now, you are not unfamiliar with Ireland, so you're not writing this off the top of your head based on some headlines.
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I lived half my life in North London and the other half in Boston, Massachusetts. And like most people in London, I have a brother-in-law called Pat. I travelled widely in Ireland since the 1990s to now. And I have to say, at no point in my travels did I ever come across any anti-Jewish sentiment among Irish people.
And so then he sort of launches into his spiel. And it's, you know, it's the usual like Zionist pablum But like Pat Kenny was basically saying, we can start the timeline at any point, whether it's October 7th or whether it's when the whole state was founded, when a bunch of people were displaced by the British, But he was kind of saying, like, his main point was that the Netanyahu government has responded disproportionately to the events of October 7th. And they've cut off water and electricity. They've bombed hospitals. And these are all things which kind of go too far, surely.
Yeah.
And most Irish people feel that. But they don't blame the Israelis. They blame the Netanyahu government, okay? And the guy's like, oh yeah, of course, there's all problems with the Netanyahu government. But like, at one point, like Pat says, like, I don't think he even says Irish people believe it's a genocide. I think he just says himself, like, I don't know, maybe I'm misreading it. I'm being a bit generous to Pat because by the time I got to the end of it, like, this is a guy I've been exposed to since I was a fucking little kid. He's been in our TVs and our radio for our lives. I have never known him to portray any sort of emotion whatsoever. He's famously called Pat the Plank. The one time where I've seen him get angry is where he got a text in that was negative and interrupted the person he was talking to give out about it.
I've got a call here that says, you're the most boring, predictable, condescending interviewer around. Go back to lecturing. You have the charisma of a sick bag. That's just it. I just mentioned, not you, no, me. I just mentioned these kind of calls because we don't normally broadcast all the stuff that comes from scum around the country, but I just thought I'd mention that one. It's typical of what we get.
When he ripped up the tickets.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Remember it's like, I want the money, not the holiday or something?
Yeah.
It's a Cork number?
Yes.
A Cork City?
Yes.
All right. If they tortured her, they couldn't get anything out of this woman. There's no question about it. Barbara, who are you going to bring to the toy show next week?
Oh, I'm not particularly interested.
Hang on a second, Barbara. Wait a second. Hang on. Just a sec now. There's the tickets to the toy show, right?
You can wrestle them.
Okay, so they're gone. So you don't want to come to the toy show?
No, thank you.
All right, so you want the 10 grand?
Please.
But he's like, he basically at one point, you can hear it in his voice. He's like, they're killing babies.
Yeah.
They're killing babies over there.
I mean, what has happened has been outrage at what is visible as the suffering of ordinary... No, but I mean, you only have one life. Netanyahu has one life, but he feels that it's okay to order the IDF to take the lives of babies. Now, you can say Hamas...
I don't think he does, actually. I think that...
And the guy's opinion is like, well, there's actually no genocide happening over there, but that's just kind of media misleading people. And then he's like, war is always going to be messy, and that's just, it is what it is. And then he says, you could compare atrocities, like the amount of people that died. There was more people that died on October 7th than in 9/11, which I actually don't think is true, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's probably the same.
But either way. He then compares it to, this one was funny though. Basically, his whole thing is like, we can't talk about proportionality because it's an attack, but I guess he's comparing it to something like Pearl Harbor. He doesn't actually compare it to Pearl Harbor, but it's kind of like, this is the thing that started the conflict and we're going to keep fighting until Hamas are gone. So it's not a case of like, you killed X amount of people, so we kill X amount of people. Okay?
Yeah.
So, but the way that he does that, he compares it to Ireland and the Brits, okay? And he says, the Brits never counted
He's talking to the wrong guy.
He said that the British never counted the amount of bodies that from bombs and then enacted, from like bombs that the IRA blew up, and enacted that amount of devastation on, the people of Ireland.
Yeah.
Which is just blatantly not true. I can't remember the year, but there's that ambush where the Brits were ambushed and then a bunch of them were killed and then they burned Cork City to the ground. It's kind of like...
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, actually, the Brits didn't engage in this tit for tat sort of thing. And it's like, yes, they did. They absolutely did, I
don't get his point. He's like, the Brits didn't do that, so neither should we. Is that his point?
No, he's just saying that it's a flawed logic at which to look at what he calls a conflict, which is you're acting like there's a scoreboard and that, you know, they attacked us, so we attack them. And, you know, he's like, it's not like that. It's about destroying Hamas, okay? So basically there's no limit to the amount of destruction that can be justified to try and get rid of Hamas. You know?
Right, okay. Yeah, it sounds like he's saying the Brits didn't keep score.
Yeah.
So neither do we. You know, is it like...
Basically. But like, Pat Kenny was basically like, yeah, I think just a lot of people might think that was a bad thing also. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of trying to suggest like...
This man would make that argument in Ireland. Like,
yeah.
I know he's only been here once on holiday or whatever, but like...
Yeah.
Like, you know the guys you hate, but we're acting like them.
The idea that if a terrorist group kills 1,000 people, that the proportional response is to fight until you have killed 1,000 of them, I don't think it holds. Incidentally, when you're talking about the British and the historical responsibility, I don't believe that the British government approached the troubles in Northern Ireland in that manner. They didn't go out, for instance, and say, well, the proportional thing to do after a pub bombing or so on was to kill the equivalent number of IRA members. That would have been described as quite wrong. I don't think proportionality makes sense in this.
It's the same old thing where it's like, sometimes they bring it up with America. They're like, well, America like colonized, like they nearly wiped out the indigenous people in America.
Yeah.
So we should be allowed to do the same thing.
Yeah, now it's our turn.
You know? Yeah. Or like when Naftali Bennett was saying, when the Allies carried out Dresden, and then somebody was like, I don't think Dresden was a good thing. And he goes, oh, so suddenly you're Mr. Clean.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Suddenly Pat Kenny's Mr. Clean.
Suddenly Pat. So then Pat asks, so yesterday when we were talking about this, I anticipated that Pat's reaction to that tweet would be to, no, I'm not anti-Semitic, no, you know?
Yeah.
And this kind of was like, it felt like it was heading in that direction, because he asks, what sort of reputational damage is Ireland facing on the world stage? And then Dominic says, he goes off on like I couldn't really keep up with it. First of all, I couldn't keep up with it because I was listening to it at triple speed, so I couldn't keep up with it for that reason as well. But
yeah, Pat Kenny, of course he's interested in land taking.
Yes, very good. Yeah.
Of course, that interests him. Either
now, Frank, what James is referring to is popular broadcaster and late night chat show host Pat Kenny.
He's
one
our
time got into
Brian.
a dispute. He's like our who is he like? I'd love to get an American counterpart for Pat Kenny. Who would he be like?
I don't think anyone that uncharismatic could possibly get on American TV.
No.
Like, it just doesn't function in the same way.
No. I'm really trying.
Just know it. Like, even Jay Leno could tell a joke. You know what I mean? Like, Pat just had nothing.
Nothing. Maybe we talked about this already, but I just want to bring this up again as an example of how fucking stupid he is. Where, like, Pat Kenny, well, the famous clip, I love the way that I've turned this podcast into just being exclusively for Frank, okay? But the one clip that everybody points to is when Jerry Seinfeld appeared on the Late Late Toy Show, and he introduced him as Jerry Seinfeld.
Will you welcome Jerry Seinfeld?
Well, that's not the one. And then he gives him the Superman toy.
Yeah.
Just a random Superman toy.
And Seinfeld is incredibly unimpressed.
Yeah. The other one is the one where the guy's like, I want to go to New York and be a breakdancer. The kid.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, well, you want to black up.
I forgot about that one. What about when Jackass were on? Do you remember that? And then the person calls in and is like, I just want to know why these three idiots are on my TV. And then it was like, well, if you don't start, like, and then, oh God. Anyway, it's very funny. That whole sketch is very good. That's one where he's
like, chill out, lady. He's like, I'm a man.
Yeah. No, whatever. He doesn't say. So he goes, listen, I'm sorry he doesn't like it, you know? And then Pat says, well, actually, I think this is a lady. He goes, I'm a man, Pat. Thank you very much. And then he goes, "You're a dude," and he's like, "Well, I certainly have the genitalia to prove it."
Yes, that's such a. The other one I love, it's a quieter one where the kids are playing the PlayStation. And it's like, we have Lara Croft.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's so good.
Just walks by the Lara Croft impersonator.
The one that I was going to mention though was on the toy show one time when Dustin the turkey, who is a puppet, who is basically the quickest way to explain him is that he's like an Irish Krusty the Clown, as in he seems to have this
he's Ireland's
long.
Donald Trump.
Imagine, yeah, because he also tried to run for president, but unfortunately that turkey didn't win.
Yeah, that orange turkey.
That orange turkey didn't win. So he's kind of like from Dublin, and he just kind of and he just says like, you know,
he's
close to the bone
ground.
sort of jokes. Yeah,
he's like this one. What's it? Insult the Comedy Dog, whatever his name is.
Triumph, the insult comic dog. Yeah,
Insult the Comedy
he's
Dog.
kind of like that. That is true. But so Dustin is on, and Dustin is meant to be like, you know, so he's obviously, kids love him. You know, he's kind of a bit cheeky for the parents as well. That's why he was in Pantos a lot.
He released a tape.
He released CDs, yeah, tapes. I had the tape as well, yeah. He had a video. He had a video called Foul Play, which I still need to watch.
He had a song called I'm too sexy for my vest.
Was it not Too Greasy or no?
Greasy.
Born Greasy, I think was one of them.
Well, he had a few.
Yeah. Christmas Tree. I remember that summer, and I remember that Christmas in Dublin.
He also beefed with people, which I liked.
Yeah.
Because he had a beef with Gay Byrne.
Yeah. That then transferred over to Pat Kenny, but it was never as successful.
It didn't make sense because it's like, does Dustin just hate the Late Late Show now? You know?
Yeah. He had a beef with the county of Leitrim. Do you remember that? That was funny too.
He is sort of on and off again relationship with Twink.
He had a beef with Mary Robinson. Do you remember when he was running for president? Yeah. But
was he? I can't remember. Was he racist? Did he ever get into racial humor?
No, I never did that. It was like if he did stuff, it was always sort of like bawdy. It wasn't. It was. I remember there was one that I was like, oh, I'm a bit uncomfortable with that. But it was. He said that they had to install new doors at RTE to fit Grania Shoig's big fat arse.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's a bit. It's a little too far for me, Dustin.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's on the toy show.
Turkey breasts all the time.
He used to do the flaps.
He'd be like, do you want to touch my turkey breast?
I don't remember that at all. Is that something you're making up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Frank's going to believe you, do you know?
Imagine if he got sexual with it. He's like, touch my...
Yeah. Baste me.
Yeah.
Yeah?
What else do turkeys have? Thighs?
What to do with stuffing? Give a big stuffing.
Stuff my hole and rub my thighs.
Gobble gobble. That's a good one.
He might say that. He never said that, actually.
Yeah.
He's friends with a
Do you know why he's called... Do you know his full name? Yeah?
Dustin
Hoffman.
Ah.
So he's actually named after a pervert, so...
Is Dustin Hoffman a pervert?
Yeah. He got me too'd.
Did he?
Yeah. We don't really talk about it too much, though. But he did get me too'd. And then John Oliver confronted him on it one time. And he got very tetchy about it.
I'd say.
But, so Dustin is on the Late Late Toy Show. That's what they call it. The Late Late Toy Show. And,
did you watch it this year?
No, I didn't watch. Did you watch it?
No.
What about the niece and nephew? They watch it. Did you see them? Did they dig it?
They're under strict, hermetically sealed.
Well, that's a shame.
Culture.
I mean, I do find the toy show kind of grotesque in many ways. Of just like, just
it does
a
create
big
an unhealthy level of desire.
consumerism, you know?
But on the other hand, though I always did like, there'd always be someone you knew who asked Santa for like whatever the most expensive.
Yeah,
Like,
the
I remember my
fucking
cousin asked for, like,
deprivation pod.
yeah. He asked for the like PlayStation 2 deprivation pod.
Yeah. But Bob Quinn, who he's like a creative, he's like a filmmaker. You know, it's the foundation of RTE. They were consulting loads of people who were making stuff in Ireland to try and see how they could form the national broadcaster in a way that benefited, I don't know, people in a creative way in Ireland. And Bob Quinn was part of that foundational group of people, but then he left over the toy show because he was like, this is just like, you're just a show where you're selling products. They get given money by companies to pitch products directly to children, and it's like appointment viewing where it's like, oh, do you want to wait? Do you want to stay up and watch the advertisements? Patrick Keelty is too soy. I can't fucking watch him. He's like, oh, the children are bullying me and they've sent me to Mars and like all these ads, and I was like, fuck off, man.
Yeah, but it's better than when Ryan Tuberty would do the 25-minute dance entrance.
Yeah,
and it'd be like 5 minutes of toys. He really was like, this is the Ryan Tuberty toy show.
I always thought Ryan Tuberty was like, well, you know, this is the best job in the world, not the toy show, being the host of the Late Late Show, where it's like, I come on and I talk to people and I'm incredibly unqualified for anything ever.
Yeah.
I've been gifted this thing, and my one penance is that I have to do the toy show.
Yeah.
Every single time he just looked like, I hate that I have to do this. I hate all these children. I hate all these people. Like he was struggling. And there was one year where he was very visibly on cocaine, and he was like grabbing this kid and like swinging him around. And I was like, fucking, like, I was like, somebody should step in. Like something's going to happen. And next year there was a notable, like, his energy was like way down. And I was like, somebody must have been like, I know that you felt like you needed to use that to get through the toy show, but you actually can't do that for health and safety reasons. You know? And he hates himself and he hates the kids. And there was a great one where like there was like a Dalek toy, and the Dalek was like, I think this was in like 2010, I want to say. And he's go, okay, so what's this? So what's this toy? What's this toy? And like, oh, well, this is like a Sonic. Okay, Sonic. I think it's Sonic screwdriver. Yeah, okay, all right. And you're just like trying to move it along, just like, shut the fuck up, kid. You know. And then he gets to the Dalek, and then they're like, and this is like a Dalek, and it does this, and he pushes the button, and it goes, exterminate. And then Ryan Tuberty goes, oh, it sounds a lot like the IMF. And like nobody laughs. And then he's like, on to the next. But it's like, you can tell in his head, he's like, I want to be back doing that. Do you know?
Yeah. I want to be on back with a banker.
So Dustin the Turkey is talking to Pat Kenny, okay? And at that same time, on then TV3, Eamon Dunphy had a new chat show that was starting to rival Pat Kenny at the Friday night slot. Okay?
Yeah, the Eamon Dunphy show hour.
Yes. And so he's like, here, Pat, I've gotten you a present for Christmas. And it was a clock with Eamon Dunphy's face on it. Okay?
Yeah.
And then this is just my way of explaining the type of person Pat Kenny is. And he goes, oh, thanks, Dustin. I always wanted a new dartboard. It's a clock, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
It's just like you're so fucking thick and slow, and you're unable to fucking. Anyway, the joke that Dustin had was like, it's a bit slow, but it's really easy to wind up.
Yeah.
Classic. Perfect. Dartboard. Idiot.
What's wrong with calling it a dartboard? You just take the hands off it.
Yeah, I could probably repurpose it as a dartboard. Wanted. It's just somebody trying to be funny, but just not understanding what makes a joke, you know, and not being able to deliver it at all. And
he does have the energy of the people on Reddit who say things like, I've neither the time nor the crayons to explain it to you.
Yeah.
You know that? It's like, you can tell he's like, this is a killer line.
Yeah. Oh, he's so exhausted. Anyway, he interviews that guy, and then the guy goes, he goes like, what? So he asked him, what reputational damage do you think this is doing to Ireland on the world stage? And the guy's like, kind of basically says like, oh, Ireland can do whatever the fuck it wants, like it can, it can rename the park, it can leave Eurovision and decide to support Hamas and terrorists. It's just whatever, like whatever you want to do.
Great.
And then Pat Kenny goes, I don't think anybody in Ireland supports Hamas, And I was like, wrong, but I know what you're getting at, which is like, it's a crazy thing to suggest that like, he's like, all of you support Hamas if you think that Israel shouldn't be in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
Anyway, he kind of ends it, and then, the whole thing just kind of ends very amicably. And he's like, all right, bye. And then there's a little follow-up where Pat goes, like, basically, after recording that, Dominic said it was a fair interview and he seemed to like it. But then he took to Twitter afterwards and he reads out the tweet that Dominic put out. So the tweet that Dominic put out, booked for live interview by Pat Kenny NT. Producer switches it to pre-recorded. Pat tried to justify October 7th, denied proof of Irish NGO money gone to Palestinian terrorists, accused Israel of genocide. I corrected him, waiting to see if it's edited so he looks less foolish. And then Pat's like, we don't edit our stuff. This is unedited. I wouldn't presume to know your opinion. Okay, I wouldn't presume to, suggest that you think something you don't. Okay,
yeah.
So here it is. People can make up their own mind on it. And I was just genuinely surprised that Pat didn't go like, I just want to say the accusations. Like kind of, when they respond to it in like as if it's good faith criticism, or as in like, these people don't realize that they're anti-Semitic.
Yeah, I guess it's the one good time for Pat Kenny's like weird level of stroppiness,
Yeah.
Like his particular own brand of histrionics that he's like, gets pissed off with that.
Yeah.
That
was funny.
Yeah. Where's Pat Kenny from? Dublin?
Oh, yeah. Has to be, right? They wouldn't let... until, I think, probably within the past 5 years, they wouldn't let a person from outside of Dublin host a primetime TV show. It's safe to say.
What's primetime? Where's Brendan O'Carroll from?
He's definitely... Actually, no, he's not. Where the fuck is he from? But yeah, Pat Kenny is from Dublin. Brendan O'Connor. I think he's from Kerry, I'm going to say. Doesn't say. Where's he from? Cork.
Yeah, he hosts the Saturday Night Show.
Yeah.
Prime
time. So yeah, I guess I was talking about Eoin Lenihan the other day. Maybe I'll mention him. Do you want to know about that? I think you would. I think you'd really enjoy this, actually.
Okay.
Eoin Lenihan is like this. He's written this book. This is how I knew about him. I'm just going to say it how I found out about him, all right? He's written this book that all the racists are going like, interesting that this is a bestseller, and yet none of the mainstream publications will touch it. They won't review it. They won't talk to Eoin. They won't do anything. The name of his book, Vandalizing Ireland, How the Government, NGOs, Academia and the Media are Engineering a Globalist Ireland. Okay?
Yeah, it's too shit for them to talk.
I was thinking about like, if you self-publish on Amazon, it's like, I'm at the top of the Amazon bestsellers list for, fucking Doctor Who themed erotica. Don't look that up, by the way. Don't look at my name with that. And I have not received a single review from a mainstream publication. You're like, why would you? Why on earth would you?
Yeah.
And then the two things that he's saying are true at the same time. One, my book is a bestseller and nobody will talk about it. Okay. Two, the bookshops don't seem to be selling my book.
Yeah.
But anyway, he puts out a tweet going, he's like, I'm very excited to appear on the Inside Politics podcast with Hugh Lenihan. And then a few hours after the recording, it was like, oh, it was a fucking hatchet job. The guy ambushed me. He's probably not even going to release it. And like, so all of the same people.
Podcast.
There was Owen O'Malley, Des O'Malley's fail son, who was like, interesting that the mainstream outlets won't talk about this, almost as if the ideas are really powerful and need to be considered. And then your man David W. Higgins goes, maybe they won't release this podcast. This is interesting. Everybody's it. So then the podcast gets released, and on Irish Twitter, it's just if you're following the fucked up circles that I'm on, they're an absolute meltdown the whole day about how hilarious this is.
Is Irish Twitter?
Do you know?
There's still the same people as it was in like 2016.
No, all of those people have moved to Blue Sky, and the only people who are still like hanging on there are the real gluttons for punishment. The people who are putting in the hard graft and just like, you have to drag me out of this site,
Right.
But do you know Eddie Lenihan, the storyteller?
Yeah.
Eoin Lenihan is his son.
What?
Yeah.
I met Eddie Lenihan the other day.
Really? That's funny.
He seemed very nice.
He seems to be. My extensive research of typing in Eddie Lenihan racist has not produced anything, but he seems to be just like an old-fashioned like storyteller who's kind of, maybe he has bad politics, but he keeps them to himself.
I feel like he's so insane. I feel like if he tried to be racist, it would just be so like cosmic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
He'd just be like, "What are you talking about?" You wouldn't even.
Yeah.
He'd be like, black people were the fear bulgar or something. He'd be like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's good or bad, or like if it even means anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What does that mean? Well, like, so his son comes on. Hugh Lenihan is kind of the liberal of Ireland. He is the most kind of, I bet you he's from Dublin as well. Nah, he's so Dublin. He's from Kildare. I forgot to mention that. So Hugh Lenihan had on in the Irish Times podcast like a few weeks ago. He had on, God, who's that guy? Sean Keyes and Orla Hegarty, and they were talking about like abundance and red tape, that sort of shit. And at one point, he goes, I was listening to a recent episode of the Tortoise Shack, which I don't tend to make a habit of. It's not. And he was giving out about the Tortoise Shack, just took a swipe at them and then continued on. Which I don't do if I can avoid it, is what he says.
That's mad.
Something like that. No, he doesn't like them because he thinks that they're too up themselves with how righteous they are. He's like, I sit down with everybody and I hear them out. That sort of guy, But anyhow, he's just a very median interviewer, and in this instance, I thought he had done his research and he was pretty just kind of cool-headed, and he just kind of kept on with it.
He's from Galway.
You were kidding me.
Yeah, he's from Oranmore.
No, he's not. Hugh Lenihan.
Yeah.
Where? What are you talking about? No, he's not.
Nah.
Do not fucking say that.
He was born in County Down.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And he spent his childhood in Clare.
No, you're talking about Eoin Lenihan. I'm talking about Hugh Lenihan.
Well, I'm going by the AI thing. So let me...
You shouldn't be doing the AI.
It comes up automatically.
Yeah, I know. You shouldn't read it because it's just gibberish. Google Gemini is the absolute worst one.
It's mad. He's completely scrubbed his birth county from the records.
Well, you listen to his voice and you tell me what you think.
I think it's Clare. I think he was born. I think it's right. He was born in County Down, and Grew up in Clare.
I don't think so. Are you talking about Eoin Lenihan or Hugh Lenihan? Which one are you talking about?
Hugh Lenihan.
That makes no sense to me.
Inside Politics with Hugh Lenihan. An interview they discussed Lenihans.
Lenihans. Yeah, because he was from Clare.
Where the hell is he from? Will you tweet at him, ask him where he's from? Do it now, will you?
Yeah, sure thing. I'll do that right now.
Do it now. Do it for real.
I know. I have Twitter open. I'm doing it right now.
Show me your screen.
Hugh Lenihan. All right, I'll show you my fucking screen. Show you my fucking screen. God damn it.
That was brighter for you than it is for me.
It's gonna get dark pretty soon.
Okay, here we
Sun's
go.
setting.
At Heine Man.
No, it says H. Lenihan.
I know.
All right.
What county are you from?
What county are you? Will I just say that, or will I say great job on the podcast so that he might actually respond?
Yeah, say something gay like that. You know, great job.
Great job on the pod. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
That's a wait. So here's the cover of Owen's book, by the way. Look at that fucking thing. So if people want to know, it seems to be an AI generated picture of Ireland, and for some reason it's in the middle of the page, and it's like the page is being burnt to reveal. No, sorry, I got it wrong. It looked to me like there was a hole being burned in the book, but I now realize that it's meant to be Ireland on a scrap of paper which is being burned.
You're wrong. Because it's AI.
Yeah.
It's both. If you look at the top one.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a hole. And if you look at the bottom of it, it's a scrap of paper.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's got a butcher's apron. What's it called?
The Union flag.
Yeah, it's got the European Union flag, and it's got the, of course, famous NGO flag, which is just a black flag with the white letters saying NGO. And then it has a magnifying glass, which seems to be, like, the building seems to be coming up through the magnifying glass. I have no idea why that's there. And then it has a bunch of ships.
And then ships going into Dublin.
Ships going into Dublin. And then it's got...
A harp?
What's it? Newgrange is there.
And then the places chosen to put cities are quite strange. Like, obviously the AI is like there's a city in the north.
Yeah.
So it's just put. Oh no, that's Giant's Causeway. The only building.
Yeah. But I see where you made that mistake. Yeah. Let me try and find a picture of him because he said his age on the podcast and I thought it was very funny. Don't look at his picture. Or don't look at his age if it said. How old do you think he is?
50, like.
He is 43 years old.
Yeah. The rough
Crazy.
43.
Very rough. So it starts off, and Hugh basically is just being quite nice to him.
Look at that picture here with the cap.
Which one? What?
Go up, left, down.
Left, down.
Right.
This one?
Is that it?
Right?
No, right. Is that him?
That's not him.
I was thinking.
That's a different guy.
That was a bad looking photo. He looks a bit Brendan Howland in that one. I was thinking.
Yeah, that's for us. That's for the fellas. A Nation on Fire.
He's such a broad man.
Yeah.
Like he's wide. Like his head is wide.
Oh, he's such a fucking bollocks. Over the past 25 years, from the Celtic Tigers' hedonism to the 2025 re-election of the Fianna Fáil Fine Gael coalition, Ireland has become unrecognisable. Unchecked mass immigration, over-reliance on foreign direct investment and eroded democracy have transformed one of Europe's most culturally assured nations into a faceless globalist experiment. In Vandalising Ireland, journalist and researcher Eoin Lenihan exposes how a government-funded network of NGOs, academics and the national media is conspiring to radically reshape the country without care for the will and welfare of the native Irish. Forced settlement of large numbers of male asylum seekers... Let me at 'em. Where are these guys, huh? Into ancient, close-knit communities around the country has brought the clash between old Ireland and new into violent focus as locals and police face off and proposed migrant centres go up in flames. Ireland is currently a nation on fire, with startling evidence. The flames are just coming out of nowhere. It's not being set by the people reading this book, is it? With startling evidence, Lenihan lays bare the historical and political failures leading to this make-or-break moment and proposes a pioneering path forward. A democratic vision that blends economic self-reliance with a cultural revival from the parish up, reconnecting the Irish people to their place and nation. We probably should have read his blurb instead, where you find out where he's actually a doctor from. He's a doctor in pedagogy. I thought that the far right didn't like that.
Yeah, I thought they hunted them down.
Yeah. But he's like an example of the wide range of international news outlets, including The Federalist, The European Conservative, Gripped, Daily Caller, Quillette, Post-Millennial. And then it was like, that's not a wide range. And then at the end, he does the thing that I love to do on my CVs, has featured on Al Jazeera and Fox News, among others.
Yeah.
Like
among others is some very heavy lifting.
His peer-reviewed study of Antifa uncovered damning evidence of how Antifa in the US infiltrated the national media and remains the largest empirical study of the group to date. So the timeline, Hugh basically is actually being real nice to him. He's like, so what's your background? Like, where are you, like, what do you do? Where are you from? You know? And so he kind of goes, I grew up in Clare and I developed a great love of the folklore and history of our nation through the stories, you know, that I heard growing up and blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, they kind of just talk back and forth. And at one point, he goes, well, like, we're about the same age, he says to Hugh, and Hugh goes, oh no, I'm much older than you. I'm much older than you. And like, oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. They're having like a bit of a kind. It's like friendly, you know? And then at one point, like Hugh is like kind of saying like, you know, so like you're talking about that there's a culture in Ireland, you know, like Irish culture. And you say it's being destroyed and it's being threatened. And I want to know what you think is destroying it. You know, and basically he just kind of said he does this really roundabout, winding way where it's like he's really trying not to say black people, but it's very clear that he wants to, and he doesn't actually make it through the full hour without saying it. So like he kind of is like, well, the thing is, you know, we have this way of life and there's different cultures and all this sort of stuff, and culture is culture, and it's not good or it's not bad, but culture will always fight for supremacy. And when you have, you know, what I believe is happening where they're, you know, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, it doesn't matter, this effort for DEI and to like bring in these groups of people, and you create this kind of ghettoization. Oh no, it's a bad word and I'm not supposed to say it, but this kind of ghettoization, these ghettos that are around the place. And Hugh is just like kind of sitting there like listening and kind of trying his best, and your man's like kind of just struggling. He's very incoherent. It's just like a regular far right poster where it's like it kind of reminded me of like no offense to him, but kind of like Blind Boy, where it's almost like, yeah,
no offense to him,
but you know what I mean, where it's like an academic, artsy, spiritual, coming up from the ground era in her roots. She is this thing.
Do you know what that's a sign of? What? I realized it's someone I now use this phrase. It's when they spend a lot of time alone.
Yeah.
And they're just like thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not talking.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they get on the radio or they get in somewhere and it's like, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't follow.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you've been thinking it, but not actually like thinking it through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no kind of challenge to this sort of stuff. It's like you're thinking about it, and then you're reading stuff, and then you're taking the bits which reaffirm everything, or maybe you're even seeking out books that reaffirm all of this.
And then, like,
and in this case, at least to Blind Boy's credit, he's probably reading books as opposed to this guy who is reading posts. You know,
I think Blind Boy just reads Wikipedia. To be fair to him, but yeah, it's like, and then they get halfway through the spiel, and they're like, "Oh, this doesn't actually add up." So now I have to make it up.
Well, I think if Blind Boy was like, it doesn't add up, he would probably have to go away and have a think and try to figure it out. Whereas this guy is like Graham Linehan, where it's like, your position makes no sense. And they just kind of start getting very flustered and annoyed and say like, well, this is what I was talking about. If you read chapter 7 of my book, then the media is trying to silence and is always doing this sort of thing. And you're kind of, you know.
How long is this book, I wonder?
Does it say on the back? Maybe it says on the Amazon thing. There's a great bit as well. I mean, where is it? 298 pages. Are you out of your fucking mind? How did you do that?
Let's look at the reviews.
Oh yeah, and then there's like all these people after that interview are kind of going like, I bought 3 copies of the book to show them, you know, what's what.
That's what right-wing people are great for that. I mean, like, I listened to this incoherent interview and I bought 50 copies of the book for everyone.
Well, the other thing is, so like I was obviously joining the fun of dunking on this guy and all of his like, it's very funny how it's divided like the right-wing community where like there'll be, hey, this guy here, did you see that Kevin O'Brien?
Yeah.
So yesterday or the day before, when Eoin Lenihan said like, oh, they did a hatchet job on me on the Inside Politics podcast.
Yeah.
I said something just like making fun of him.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, he responded to me. Let's look it up. So Eoin Lenihan writes, very sad to say that Hugh Lenihan engaged in the most nasty personal attack I have ever encountered in public life on his Inside Politics podcast today. When it comes out, it will stand as one of the Irish Times' most shameful moments. I expected a few digs. I didn't expect a full-on personal attack, littered with intentionally distorted half-truths. The kind of slime, he said that a lot in the podcast for some reason, that makes you stop engaging. And then he goes, vandalizing Ireland chapter 6.
What
the national
slime?
Media fire. I don't know.
What absolute slime.
Yeah, what slime? Vandalizing Ireland chapter 6. The national media firewall had it spot on. I was like, that's his own book. He's going like, you know, I really had it right when I said this. And so I just said, quoting his own book like it's the Bible. Very funny. And then he went, sure, but is it wrong? And then I said, I'll never know. But the thing that happened after that, a few seconds after that happened, suddenly, where is it? I post too much, I'm sorry. Sure, but is it wrong? Then it, like within seconds, Herbert Ahern, Herb E8277 is his handle, account created in 2025, just responded to our banner image, which is just a picture of the podcast. This thing here from October 12th, 2023. And he said, thought it was shite, very shallow and derivative analysis, more or less glorified pub talk. Don't give up in the day job. And so it's very obvious that is a sock puppet account of his, like, because as goes on in the Inside Politics podcast, he has form for this, because the thing that he gets angry about, so the timeline is thus, where it's like Hugh Lenihan's like, all right, so like, what's your thesis in the book? This is my thesis. Okay, where did you start off from? Clare, where I learned all these stories and I learned to appreciate how ancient and beautiful Ireland is. Okay, and then he goes, but then you like moved to Germany. Yeah. So am I right in saying that you haven't lived in this country for quite some time? And he's like, because he's like, yes, I haven't. And he's like, so you're effectively an immigrant and you're here talking about how immigration is ruining this country. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, Hugh Lenihan's like, I'm not trying to have a go at you, but that's just not my experience of this place at all. Like, I don't walk down the street and see the things that you're talking about. You know?
Yeah.
And I also wonder how you can say that as an immigrant and from over there. And then this is where it starts, the first crack starts to show, where he goes, Hugh says, Owen says, well, can I blow your mind now? They have these things called planes.
Yes. That's such a good comeback. Being like, you don't know how I'm here? A plane.
Yeah.
A plane took me here.
And it was just kind of like, they end up going into a thing about like ghettos and immigration and all this sort of stuff. And then he was like, you only have to look at the outskirts. He starts talking about the influx of like Indians. And at one point, like he's talking about Nigerians as well. And he says that there was like when he left during the end of the Celtic Tiger, around the time of the Celtic Tiger or something. I think he said he left because he anticipated the recession. Okay.
Yeah.
And he said that, by the time he left, that there were Nigerians in like Loughrea, and there were like Nigerians in these places all around the place. And what ends up happening is they sort of cloister together, and then their culture is about supremacy, and their culture starts to drown out other things. And you have people who aren't learning the language or anything like that. And then he was like, he said something like how basically, you only have to look at the outskirts of Dublin to see that. Like, it's like how terrible that is. How what?
The suburbs.
The suburbs. And what was the word he used, though?
He says you only need to look at the suburbs in Dublin to understand what I'm saying. And then you went on to walk through.
There was something like that. Where I can't remember the word, but he used a like kind of pejorative word to describe like basically saying that the suburbs of Dublin were like ugly. But this is after he said that there was an influx of like Indians. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And so Hugh just go, whoa. He's like, go back to that there. Okay. He's like, I agree that like, you know, it might be unpleasant to look at, but not from an architectural point. From what point are you trying to make? Because I think you're suggesting something ugly there, you know? And instead of responding to it, he just kind of breezes straight past it, you know?
Yeah.
And he just keeps talking. And so then Hugh kind of says like, okay, well, let's continue on he doesn't say let's continue on in your timeline, but like the next thing he says is he talks about how this is the part that like I listened to the podcast. Afterwards, I went to Eoin Lenihan's Twitter and I started reading down the thread that he had. I read a Medium article that he wrote about this in 2019. I read the articles that Hugh Lenihan mentioned on his podcast. I have tried my best to understand this, and I'm going to try my best to explain it to you, but it doesn't entirely make sense to me, okay?
Right.
But basically, Hugh Lenihan brings up that this guy used to have an account called Prog Dad. Do you know Prog Dad?
No.
Prog Dad apparently was like a troll account that Eoin Lenihan set up. And he was just saying all sorts of like racist shit on it. And then I'm unclear about whether the people found out that Eoin Lenihan was behind it and exposed him, okay?
Yeah.
Or whether he was just hassled so much that it kind of activated him in a certain way. But what he then said, like, on the podcast, he says, I was doing a PhD and I was doing this other account called Prog Dad in my spare time to just fucking have some fun. And then the Antifa people wouldn't let me have fun. So I then turned to what I do best, which is research. So I started to try and research these elements that were kind of attacking him, I guess. So what that amounted to, like, obviously it's all gibberish when he says it. So I had to figure out what this was. But what he was kind of saying, like, it was the kind of the type of language where it's like, you know, using algorithms and digital manipulation, I was able to ascertain links and connections between. But what he's basically saying is he looked up Twitter accounts of people he didn't like, saw who they were following, and then saw articles that they might have written or posts that they might have written that suggested they were part of Antifa, whatever way you do that. Okay?
Yeah.
And then he basically said that there was all of these members of Antifa, which I'm not like, it's not like a fucking organization or anything. It's anti-fascist, obviously. And he was saying that they basically infiltrated all of these journalistic outlets in
Right.
I
So
don't know.
he's like this fella is anti-fa and he follows Hugh Lenihan. So Hugh Lenihan's
Yes, exactly.
anti-fascist. That's
That's
okay.
exactly it. And he created like a social media sort of graph like that. And he's basically like, and I managed to coordinate this information and figure out all this stuff. And then Hugh's like, yeah, no, I've seen stuff like that. They're pretty easy to do. But like, obviously, I follow a lot of people who actually don't necessarily agree with. I'm sure you do too, you know? Like,
yeah.
there's people who on these outlets. So there's a woman called Kim Kelly who wrote for the New Republic. And then there was a guy, I think his name is Jared Holt, and he wrote for something. There's like a university. It's called like the Review of Books or something. I don't know what it was. Something review. But either way, this nexus or whatever of accounts that he compiled were then used by far right accounts to like dox and attack these people. Okay, so apparently like Breitbart and like all of that shit were using it to harass these people. All right.
Yeah.
Which I have an easy time believing, obviously. And
so he just set up like a mailing list for right wingers to harass.
Well, he didn't set it up directly, but he brought all the information together, and then it was like put in some like outlet or publication, which they then used to be able to do it themselves. But it is like a machine for harassment.
That's an amazing PhD. Just being like, these are the posters I don't like.
Yeah.
Give me my doctorate now.
I have absolutely no idea whether that was what his PhD was in. I don't know what his PhD is in. Like, I know it's in pedagogy, but I don't know what that means. And then I'm sure this is just another project that he had, but it was an academic paper, which he keeps going. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It was through some sort of academic outlet. And then he was talking about how it had been like double blind reviewed or something like that, peer reviewed. And then you're kind of like, well, they're not going to argue. They're not going to dispute some sort of claim that you make. The only thing about a peer review that's blind is that nobody knows that it's you who wrote it. And also they're trying to verify the information that you have in it is correct. It's just about the data as opposed to the argument, isn't it?
Yeah, like depending on where it was published, it could be any quality of review.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And given all the outlets that he lists off are all just like racist, right-wing, reactionary, who have a penchant for just harassing people, you know? I read the New Republic article by Kim Kelly where she basically says like, she's like, I do some posting, I write some articles, and I do mostly reviews of heavy metal bands for Pitchfork. And Eoin Lenihan just like basically put a target on my back, and I was harassed by all these fucking people. And people have like disputed all this. It was like I don't know. It's just a list of people that he said were Antifa for whatever that means, you know?
Yeah.
Given to a bunch of rabid fucking freaks who see the word Antifa, anti-fascist. I mean, every it just boggles the mind. Anti-fascist. You're like, how dare they be?
I'm gonna sit in the chair. One sec.
No worries.
There we go. That's better.
All right. But the other thing is, what was it? Yeah, I retweeted that. Pat Kenny tried to justify October 7th, and then Kevin O'Brien gets back. Is this parody? So I just wanted to bring that up in relation to Kevin O'Brien did one of the reviews here. So it links both of those stories. He says, I was excited to get my hands on this book for months. It lays out in no uncertain terms the complete and utter mismanagement of Ireland in every aspect imaginable.
Yeah.
The book is rooted in absolute fact and brilliantly referenced in its takedown of the treason of both the EU and Irish governments. Treason that has threatened to rip the very soul from this wonderful island. A price that the bureaucrats, sellouts and globalists are happy to continue paying to line their own pockets. I was both unsure and excited to see what emotions the book might provoke in me. Were you? I'm just like picking up the book and being like, can't wait to see what emotions this brings out.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to say that after finishing it, I feel more hopeful now than I have ever have that we'll turn the ship around. And more importantly, that the people of Ireland are willing to step up and take it back. This book feels like the beginning of a new age for the Ireland Thank you, Owen, for what I have no doubt will be looked back upon as a pivotal turning point in deciding the destiny of this beautiful land. No better man than a Clare man to inspire the nation. Up the banner, yo! This is an important book. Dr. Lenihan is some of these reviews are definitely written by him. Hey, from Cork. Let's give shout out to Brian of Cork.
It is 7 chapters. It weaves from fairy lore and fireside culture via the history of Irish people and their emigres, into political history, and increasingly into the numbing reality of 21st century Ireland.
But anyway, after Hugh kind of confronts him on this, he gets very upset. He kind of just like, why did you bring this up, essentially? He was like, you just went to the 25th page of Google and just like dredged this up. And then Hugh's like, it wasn't. It was like the first page. It was like, one of the things that you're known for,
Yeah.
And he's kind of just saying like, he's kind of going like, I can't believe, are you serious? Right? He gets very like, he starts making all of these weird exasperated noises, and he really starts to like, it was like, this is why people are losing faith in the media, is because you don't come on to talk, you invite me on and you just bring up this stuff, this slander, this thing from a like very hurtful time in my life. The slime. And he then he goes, God, what was it? I'm trying to remember. Basically, he was like, all right, well, let's talk about the book. And so then he's like, okay, so like, your version of Irish nationalism, I'm trying to imagine this he basically is trying to say like, what about this right-wing Irish nationalism? How does this incorporate the North? Okay.
Yeah.
And then Owen's like,
it doesn't.
Basically, he goes on to say that. Like, genuinely, I you know what? I'm sharing my screen, so I might as well just pull up the podcast and we can listen to a bit of it.
Okay. Let me get a 7
Where the fuck is... All right, no problem.
That's the end of the free bit. Go to patreon.com/CelticLigers for the rest, where they delve deeper into online racist troll Eoin Lenihan's bizarre interview with the Irish Times podcast. They talk about an attempted puff piece on Graham Linehan which leaves the author shaken at the madman he found. Then the internet connection cuts out and Gar and James start to record parallel takes on Herzog Park, the ongoing war on Irish neutrality, Zelenskyy's visit, and Trump winning the FIFA award for outstanding achievements in the field of excellence. It's a slime-packed episode.